Today is Friday, June 28th, 3:26 p.m. It's a Friday. This is Wyckoff. Apparently he's a legendary technician, and his name is Richard Wyckoff. And he pointed out something called a market cycle. Now, this market cycle has 4 phases. The first phase is accumulation. So that would be the base. If I'm looking at in terms of essentially a long trade, now what I'm about to describe is in a perspective of a long biased trade. But it is possible to flip that around and think of it as a bearish or a short trade. So the first phase is called accumulation. It is essentially at the bottom where accumulation occurs. So it would be this range right here. Now the second phase is called a markup. Markup is essentially either a parabolic move or a trending move up, described here, markup. So if I was a savvy trader, what I would do is attempt to enter as early as possible during the post accumulation phase. So essentially the accumulation phase can be looked at or compared to a trading range. Now the breakout occurs during the phase of markup. Then there's a distribution phase, which is also, again, a trading range. Essentially, on a bull or a long trade cycle, it is at the top, or the distribution phase, or essentially is behaving as a trading range. Then the fourth phase is called the markdown. Essentially, this part of it here where selling occurs, and it can be a long downward trend or a parabolic move down to close out the market cycle. Now when I look at this and compare to the trading that I performed today, and if I look at this happens all the time. And if I look at it closer, I can see that even here, that part right there is the first phase or accumulation phase. Markup, distribution, and markdown right there. So similar to how Al Brooks teaches in his training course, all manner of time periods mimic itself the smaller time frame that I use, and that same time frame expanded out to a higher time frame, it behaves the same way. And fundamentally speaking, even within the trading range, there is also a micro version of the Wyckoff method. So here is the accumulation, markup, distribution, and markdown, the 4 phases. And if I look at these things on a closer basis, I would see that the same thing that's occurring in a microscopic period of time as well. And if I look at here on a bigger time frame, I see that it is a accumulation phase, markup, uh, distribution, and markdown all the way down here. It's a remarkable understanding that I saw this early in my trading journey, but I didn't make that connection into the market and to this picture here. But this picture, this graph is essentially the same thing that is represented each and every day in the market, which have occurred in the past, which occur today, which will occur tomorrow. Which will occur tomorrow, maybe the next day has a high probability. Who knows what technology will come forth in the future to alter what happens here, but most likely if human beings are involved, then this will remain true. Yeah, so if all machines were trading, I wonder how this will behave. The faster the machine is, then it's going to behave, yeah. It's too complex for me to think about, but for the time being, the year 2024, comparing what's happening in the market and comparing with Wyckoff market cycle, it mimics the 4 phases of the cycle: accumulation, markup, distribution, and markdown. And that is repeated every moment of every day. It has, it did, probably it will.